Hi friends, welcome back to our Operation Christmas Child series. For those of you just joining us, I'm Kendra Rocho. My mission is to help Christian women discover and live out their God-given purpose, and this series is exactly that in action. Last week, we went shopping for treasures for our shoeboxes, and this week, I'm taking you into my sewing space for something really special. I'm going to show you how to make handmade dresses for my Operation Christmas Child shoeboxes. If you're just joining us, Operation Christmas Child is about so much more than just gifts. It's about demonstrating God's love to children worldwide and sharing the gospel through local church partners. Since 1993, more than 232 million children have received these boxes, often their very first gift. Now, you might remember my Dress a Girl Around the World video. It's actually one of my most popular videos because it shows what happens when passion meets purpose in action. Every stitch becomes a prayer, every seam becomes an act of worship, every dress becomes a tangible expression of God's love for His daughters around the world. This year, I'm making 30 dresses to include in my Operation Christmas Child shoeboxes, one handmade dress for each box. Now, whether you make one dress or 30, whether you pack one box or 100, what matters is the love and prayer you put into it. God sees the heart behind every single shoebox, and one box packed with love can absolutely change a child's life. Look at all of this beautiful fabric. Some of this will become a beautiful dress for a precious little girl. Look at this one here. It will let her know that she is loved and valued in God's eyes. You know, I could easily buy dresses from the store, and that would be perfectly fine for Operation Christmas Child. But there's something so special about creating with your own hands, putting love into every stitch. It reminds me of Dorcas. You remember her from Acts chapter 9? She was known for her needlework, her making of clothes, for everyone in need around her. The Bible says she was always doing good and helping the poor. When she died, the widows gathered around, showing all the robes and clothing she had made while she was with them. Dorcas understood something beautiful, that our hands can be instruments of God's love. Every stitch she made was an act of service, an expression of care for someone else. Now, if you'd like to make dresses like these for Operation Christmas Child or Dress a Girl Around the World, I have a complete tutorial you can download. The link will be in the description below. It includes a step-by-step instruction booklet, and it's beginner-friendly. You don't need advanced skills to make these dresses. Now, let me show you my system for making 30 dresses efficiently. I don't just start sewing randomly. I organize everything into kits first. Each kit contains all the pieces required for a complete dress. The main fabric, fabric for a pocket, elastic, the straps, and a template. I get all of these kits prepared before I start sewing anything. Then I batch the work. For example, I'll take several kits and I'll just focus on sewing pockets like this here. Then I might just do the casings for those dresses. You can see that here. These dresses are all complete. Or I might just take some and put the pockets onto the fabric. This approach lets me get into a rhythm with each step. When I'm sewing these pockets, I'm thinking about praying for little girls who will use these to hold their little tiny treasures in them. And when I'm doing hems, like on these dresses, I can focus and make sure each dress is just the perfect length. You know what I love about the Proverbs 31 woman? It says she works eagerly with her hands. That's exactly how this feels. Eager hands creating something beautiful for God's daughters around the world. But she was also organized and efficient. Proverbs 31 says she considers the fields and buys it. She planned ahead, just like these kits here help me to plan ahead and sew each one with efficiency and love. I always try to add little special touches. For example, on this dress here, look at the lace and the little rickrack that's going across. Because every little girl deserves something that feels special just for them. Something special that says, this was made just for you. Can you imagine this dress will travel thousands of miles after I place it in my shoebox with other treasures, and then it will be handed to a little girl at a gospel outreach event. She'll put this on, and maybe she'll feel beautiful for the first time in her life. But more importantly, she'll hear about Jesus, about how much Jesus loves her, how precious she is to him. This dress becomes part of the gospel message. Now, I have to tell you about the amazing women who helped make all of this possible. My 92-year-old mom, can you believe that? She makes hundreds of little pockets that are sewn onto dresses. She doesn't want to be on camera today, but she sits in her sewing machine creating these precious little pockets because she knows every little girl deserves to have a pocket on her dress. Look at these. Look at each one made with love by hands that have been serving others for over 9 decades. What a legacy of service. And my sister Gail, well, hang on a second. Look at this dress. This is so special. This is her 1,000th dress and will be included in my shoe boxes. 1,000 dresses for little girls around the world. She's gifted this milestone dress to me for my birthday this year. So this dress is a gift for me, but it's also going to become a gift for a precious little girl somewhere in the world. What an incredible birthday present. I get to be part of passing along this legacy of love to a child who needs to know she is treasured by God. 1,000 little girls blessed by my sister's hands and heart. And now I get to share in that beautiful ministry. And my friend Rose, well, she's just starting out to help me this year. She's traveling right now, but she's been learning to sew simple items for the boxes. There's something truly beautiful about women of different generations and skill levels coming together. From Rose just beginning, to me with my 30 dresses, to my sister reaching this incredible milestone of 1,000 dresses, to my 92-year-old mom still faithfully making pockets. It's like those biblical women who supported each other in ministry. We're stronger together, and the work goes by so much faster when we're all contributing our gifts. The Proverbs 31 woman didn't work alone either. She had helpers, people working alongside her. That's the beauty of kingdom work. We each bring what we have, and God multiplies it. Look at these dresses back here, all hung up. Each one made with love and prayer. Each one will become a part of a shoebox that tells this little girl that she's treasured. You can see by all the different sizes and fabrics and colors, each one is unique because every single girl is unique and special. But the message is the same. You are loved by the God who created you. Next week, I'm bringing my helpers over and we're going to pack all 30 boxes in assembly line fashion. You'll see these dresses here go into boxes along with all those other treasures we found at the Dollar Tree last week, plus some special wow items. It's going to be amazing. If you're inspired to add something handmade to your Operation Christmas Child shoeboxes, it doesn't have to be as elaborate as a dress. But perhaps it's a simple bag, a headband, a doll outfit. Anything made with love adds truly a special touch. And remember, like Dorcas, we can use our hands as instruments of God's love. Whether you sew, craft, knit, or create in any way, you have the ability to put love into something tangible that speaks to a child's heart. This is what purpose in action looks like, using the gifts and ability God has given us to serve others and share His love around the world. If this series is inspiring you, or if you're joining me on this Operation Christmas Child journey, would you do me a favor? Would you hit the like button and share this video with a friend who might want to pack a shoebox? And subscribe to the channel so you don't miss next week when all my helpers come over here and we pack our 30 boxes together. It's going to be a wonderful experience. I'll see you next week for packing day. God bless you all. You'll need a sewing machine and a serger, but the serger isn't required, an ironing board and an iron. Let's walk through what you'll need. A dress-a-girl label, fabric for the dress, fabric for pockets, and trim for pockets. You'll need armhole templates, 2 pieces of bias tape, scissors, straight pins, safety pins, threads, and 2 full bobbins to make things easier, 2 pieces of elastic. The armhole templates are provided in the instructions. Make sure you download it as you work through your project. Let's start to prepare the dress. Make sure you choose a 42 to 44 inch cheerfully colored high quality cotton or cotton blend in any length ranging from 16 inches to 39 inches. If you have a serger, now is a good time to try to serge both the top and the bottom of the fabric, as you can see here. Step 2 involves making the pockets and then sewing the pockets on the dresses. The first step is actually making the pockets. You'll cut out coordinated fabric 14 inches by 7 inches and then fold in half. And you'll do the same for the second pocket, 7 by 7 inches, and lightly iron it. You'll then sew a 1/4 inch along the 3 sides, and you'll want to leave an inch opening on one side of the pocket. You can see here where I've stopped and started to leave the 1 inch opening. Next, you'll snip off all the corners and extra threads and turn the pocket inside out. Once you've sewed the pocket and turn it inside out so that the wrong sides are together, make sure to get those pocket edges nice and crisp, and then iron them and roll those edges if you need to get a nice clean line. You'll also want to, once you've ironed it, put your trim or any other embellishments on the pocket. Now is a good time to sew the Dress-A-Girl label onto the pocket as well. Now back to the sewing machine to sew on the trim. Look at how adorable this beautiful trim is on the dress. Make sure you're securing it on the top and the bottom. Still with the pockets, step 2 is sewing the pockets onto the dress. So take your fabric, holding it lengthwise, fold the dress fabric in half, wrong sides together, and then half again. Place a pin in the center of the folds. You can see that here as I circle that and draw an arrow to it. At the pin line, take a ruler and measure 1.5 to 2.5 inches and line the pockets up and pin them onto the dress. Back to the sewing machine, sew pockets down on the sides and the bottom. You'll follow this for both pockets, sewing them down onto the dress. Let's move to step 3, the back seam and hem of the dress. With the right sides of the fabric together, we're going to pin down that back seam. We'll be creating what we'll call a tube, which is the full dress. As you can see, we don't need a lot of pins for that. And we sew down about 3/4 of an inch. And if you have your serger, now's a good time to come over and serge that back seam. And see how we created that tube? And our pockets are beautifully aligned. We'll want to press out that back seam as well. Turn under the hem 1/2 inch. Make sure if you don't serge to have a clean edge by folding 1/4 inch and then another 1/4 inch. At the sewing machine, you'll want to sew a 1/2 inch hem. And then, for extra security of that hem so it won't come out, you'll actually stitch another 1/4 inch. So as you can see here. On to step 4, mark and cut the armholes. With wrong sides together and pockets facing up, find the center front of the dress by stretching out the dress from the back seam. Now fold the dress in half, making sure those pockets are facing up like I just showed you here. Place the armhole template on the folded fabric and pin. Always check that the pockets are facing upwards and cut out the armhole as you can see here. When cutting, make sure you're cutting through all 4 layers of fabric and that you're on the fold. And when you open it up, you'll see that the pockets are facing up and the armholes are on the side. Step 5, making the casing. Press under 3/4 of an inch from the top to make a casing on the front and back of the dress. Make sure you have a clean edge if you haven't serged this by tucking it under 1/4 of an inch. Sew down the casing, leaving enough room for the elastic to slide through easily. If you choose to add another seam at the top of the casing, it makes a nice ruffled look. Step 6, pulling elastic through the casing. Use a safety pin to pull the elastic through the casing. And as you work it through the casing, secure the end piece of the elastic to the side of the casing. You'll do this for both the front and the back of the dress. As you can see here, we're going to pull the elastic through that casing. As we head back to the sewing machine, we're going to attach at the end with stitches and back stitches. So we'll securely go back and forth, making sure that elastic is secure on the side of the dress. Step 7, fabric straps. Cut the length of the strap fabric for the size indicated on the measurement chart. Lightly press them. To find the center, fold the dress and put a pin in the center of the armhole. You'll then take your bias tape and fold that in half, placing a pin in the center of the bias tape. You'll do that for both sides of the dress and bias tape. Now you'll take those pins and you'll line them up, pinning the bias tape onto the armhole. This will give you a good center location so the straps are even between the front and the back of the dress. Take care in folding the ends of the bias tape for a clean strap. Once pinned, you'll head back to the sewing machine. Starting at one end of the bias tape, begin sewing the tape closed. Continue sewing, binding the edge of the armhole with the tape. Make sure you give yourself enough room to catch the edges of the tape on the inside and outside of the dress. This will complete your beautiful sundress for a precious girl. I hope this tutorial has inspired you to see how beautifully your passion for sewing can become a purpose-driven ministry. Every dress you create is a tangible prayer, a message of love, and potentially a life-changing gift for a precious girl who needs to know she matters.